This is the May Freshwater Bass and Yellas box. And it sounds good. This one here actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to start with it. It is getting colder. I've got my beanie on, I've got my jacket on. It's cold, it's freezing. I hate the cold. I like the warmer weather better. If you like the cold, then all the power to you. But I'm going to start with this lure because it actually looks pretty damn good. It's one from Berkeley, part of the ProTech series. This is the Berkeley ProTech Vibe 60. I have it here in the olive gill color. So it is a sinking vibration style lure. So it is a vibe or a lipless crankbait, some call them as well. So if you fish with lipless crankbaits, you're going to fish this in pretty much the same way. Just going to give you a slightly different swim, sink, because they're all quite unique to the brand that you buy them. Anyway, damn bass. This is what I'm thinking. Bass in impoundment, schooled up bass, because it's getting cold. The bass are going to come up closer, school up in pockets of water. And it's going to be the perfect place to cast and swim them straight through, or even work them vertically as well. So if I come across a good school of bass on my sounder, on my boat, or on my kayak, I'm going to try and hold right on top of them and just drop something like this straight down on top of them and just work it. Work it, work it, work it. You don't have to really do any retrieve as long as you think, or at least you know, or as long as you know, or at least you think you've got this at the right depth where those active fish are sitting. Just short, sharp twitches and just jig this right in their face. Now, if you find a school's not hitting it that way, let your boat or kayak float back off that school, and you're going to cast past the school and just slow to medium retrieve right back through those fish. Now, if those fish are sitting close to the bottom, add a lot of pauses in to allow this lure to sink back down to the bottom, so you can retrieve and pause, keeping this lure close to the bottom where those fish are sitting. That looks very attractive, so I can't wait to fish with that one. Now, if you're going to be doing some trolling, or you're going to be fishing in a river, or even at least on the banks where there might be some structure in the dam or in the river or creek again, then I'm probably going to jump over to this big mouthful, which is the Damiki DC300. So it's part of the DC series of crankbaits. So it's a big lipped crankbait, and it will dive down deep, and it will dive down quickly. Going to be perfect for yellows and your bass, especially in the rivers. I'm probably more thinking structure. So when you've got that fallen timber or even your vertical timber, cast past it, work this lure along. I'm probably not going to get twitchy with it. I'm probably just going to do a cast out, maybe do a big rip just to get this lure to dive down to the preferred depth, then straight into a slow to medium roll. I might speed it up in the summer months, but while it's cooling down, these fish are getting more and more lethargic, getting slower. So I'm going to slow down my retrieve with them. Us as people, we get slow in winter because it's cold and we don't want to get out of bed. Fish can be the same. They may not be as active, so we want to slow down our retrieve. Now, if the hard bodies aren't working the magic for you, we've got 3 different types of plastics here, which hopefully will get you onto a cracking fish in these colder months, and we've included some jig heads. So I'll actually start off with the jig heads for these ones here. So these are the Berkeley Nitro Sniper jig heads. I have here the 3 ounce, the 3 ounce 2.0 hook jig heads here. So they will fit all of the plastics provided. That's magic. I'll start off with the bigger ones here from Pontoon 21. These are the Pontoon 21 Homunculus Awaruna. That's a mouthful. So these here are like a long, thin baitfish profile, but with a big paddle tail on these, a T-type paddle tail, or T-style paddle tail on them. So that's not like the slanted one, but straight up and down like a T. Going to catch a lot of water and cause a lot of vibration. Because of that heavier water, because of the heavier jig heads these are going to go down fairly deep. So in the dams, going to be perfect, especially when you see those schooled up fish sitting nice and deep, nice and tight, close to the bottom. You can let this sink right to the bottom, do a slow to medium retrieve, lots of pauses to keep that plastic close to the bottom. It's going to be dynamite. It's going to be the same with your snatch bite shad. So these are the mag bite, snatch bite shad. And the jig heads will fit perfectly with these. You're going to fish them in a very similar style to the Pontoon 21 Homunculus Awaruna. But these are a slightly smaller profile. The color as well can play a game. The Awaruna, the Homunculus by Pontoon 21, I have a darker color there. So I'm probably gonna use that for the deeper water, or maybe dirtier water. The mag bite, snatch bite shad here, I have a clearer finish. It's opaque and orange. So I'm probably gonna fish this in shallow waters. It will still work deeper waters, but in those deeper waters, I more likely wanna create a bigger, darker silhouette with my lure. That's why I aim back for the Awaruna. So maybe if you're fishing an edge bite in some structure, or you're fishing early morning, late afternoon where you're not gonna fish as deep, but you can fish this a little bit quicker, then you're gonna go the same jig heads with the mag bite, snatch bite shad. If you don't wanna fish a paddle tail style plastic, or maybe you wanna fish a bit more vertically, say you're hugging next to a tree, where often the big yellows like to sit and hide. A great way to target these yellows or even bass that may be there is little grub style plastic. So here I have the Demiki D grub in the 3-inch, and they will still fit the 3/8 jig head, but for that style fishing, I may jump back to a 1/4 ounce jig head. Actually 1/4 ounce would be perfect. 1/4 ounce to the 3/8 ounce that we've included here will be perfect. And you can simply just drop this straight down next to a tree and just super slow work this back up that tree. Super slow. It takes a lot of patience, but it's a great way to catch some stonking yellows and even the bypass bass as well. And that is it for the freshwater bass and yellows box for this month. If you want to check it out or any of the others in the range, just head to tackleclub.com.au, pick a box that's right for you, and welcome to the club.